Hey, I really want you to get this book, Heads Up Baseball 2.0, because I believe it can transform your life if you're a player. As a coach, can take your coaching to a whole nother level. As a parent, it can be the answer to your, to the question around, I want the best for my child. Why is that? Because it deals with the mental game. So let me step out of the way here and ask you this. What percentage of baseball success would you say is mental? Like 20%, 50%, 80%, 90%? Most people when in a group will tell me around 80% will be the average. So what percentage of investment have you made in the mental game? 20, 50, 80, 90? Or how about less than 10? Most people in a group will be less than 10, if not zero. And so the question is why? Why is that? Why do so few people make an investment, even though they'll say, hey, the mental game's 80% of the game, but I really haven't done much of anything with it, is they don't know how. How do you do that? How do you work on your mental game? Most people work on their mechanics and just hope they're confident, focused, consistent, have a great attitude. Just say, "Hey, have a great great attitude." Well, that's fine, but there's much more that you can do. The premise of Heads Up Baseball is that players can train to develop these skills, that including playing with more confidence, being more consistent, overcoming failure faster, being a better teammate, ultimately being a competitor, being a good competitor. We polled before we started this book, we asked a ton of D1 and pro and high school coaches, what's the biggest thing that you want in a player right now? It's like, oh, to be a competitor, for the guy to be able to compete. Yes, I want him to have good tools and look good in a showcase, but doggone it, can the guy compete when the game is on the line? Is he, at or near his best? And at practices, when it gets a little slower, boring, is he locked in and focused? Is he a competitor? That's what people want. That's what coaches want. And so, and if you are a coach, you're probably nodding your head. It's like, how do I get that? Well, let's see what Joe Madden says first. More practice time is spent trying to perfect mechanics. Most practice time to perfect mechanics or get stronger. Those are important, of course, but when the game time comes and the ump says play ball, the real advantage lies with the player who has trained himself to compete. Committing yourself to play Heads Up Baseball will help you get the most success and enjoyment out of your talent. So if you want the most success and enjoyment out of your talent, there you go. Joe Madden says, get this book. Others have bought it for a while. This was just a couple years ago. It's a 25-year-old book. Goes to #1 when Aaron Judge says it's what he reads. And now that when it came out, he said he's reading Heads Up Baseball 2.0. So boom, we got a really nice boost. It isn't always here after 25 years, but that gives you a sense of it. So what I encourage you to do also is keep this tab open, go Google Heads Up Baseball, look on Amazon, read reviews. Google Ken Ravizza. Very sadly, Ken passed away in the summer of 2018. And there's some really wonderful stuff. You can get a sense of who he is, which I would love it if you would go and get a sense of who he is and in the world of baseball. And then come back and get this because you're not going to get a really better price here. So just go elsewhere, do your research on Heads Up Baseball and myself. And so what is Heads Up Baseball? Just a quick example here. Ken in particular, like Ken worked with Trout as a minor league player in the Angels organization. Here it says Mike Trout's pre-at-bat routine. Here's what he says he does and what he learned to do, what he really needs to do. There's two things he really says, I got to do these two things or the game will speed up on me. And it doesn't mean, hey, do these two things and you're going to have a $400 million contract. He gets it, though, in part because he has a really good mental game. He's a sure bet or he's good a bet as you can make because he's got a great mental game to go with his physical tools. And so for the last 30, 40 years, Ken and myself have gone through and talked to the best players. Talk to the best. How do you do it? What do you focus on? What do you think? And then we pull it into a system of 5 skills for competing one pitch at a time. So I really want you to get this book. This is a great price, great offer that you've got right here. Please take advantage of it. If you decide, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done this. It really wasn't that good of a book. It was a bad investment. Let us know and we'll refund you instantly, no questions asked. But I'll bet you're going to have a great time and you'll be writing instead to say, wow, it's really made a difference for me or my players or my son. And I love having them get out there and play Heads Up Baseball.